Hey, what's up, Global Village? Um, okay, I was compelled to make this video because I had a very unusual, slightly uncomfortable interaction on YouTube with a creator. Um, and I want to talk about it because I think it actually raises a fairly important and perhaps slightly more nuanced issue in relationship to the absolute chaos that's going on in the Middle East right now. Uh, it's perhaps not surprising that at this point in time, anti Israeli sentiment is higher than it's ever been. And I, for one, feel tremendous sense of rage towards what Israel has done to Gaza, and now the way they have provoked this conflict with Iran, while at the same time shamelessly gaslighting the rest of the world that somehow it's the Iranians who are baying for blood and want death and destruction to America and Israel and all of that sort of rhetoric. Now, look, are there pockets of the Iranian society who have at times in moments of history expressed this kind of sentiment? Sure, but is it reasonable to fearmonger in this way and stereotype the entire Iranian population as if Israel is on the verge of existential threat of nuclear annihilation? It's absolutely absurd. The answer to that is categorically no. Iran do not have a nuclear bomb. They're nowhere close to having one. And this is clearly about something else. It's not about disarming uh, Iran's ability to manufacture a nuclear weapon. It's about installing a puppet government in that country. But anyway, that isn't actually what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about was I found a YouTube channel, or it was recommended to me, where they played back a very, or they narrated a video that someone else had made, which presented a very strong, it offered strong historical insight into exactly who Benjamin Netanyahu is and what his objectives have been pretty much ever since he uh, came into political power. And it tells a damning story of basically a self serving warmonger who has essentially aligned himself with far right religious fanatics because it's what he needs to do to continue to secure his future and to avoid being thrown into prison. Anyway, that's all good, and I agreed with that entirely. The problem is, at the very end of this video, the creator then proceeded to shout out Candace Owens. And you may not know who Candace Owens is, so I'm just going to quickly assert my feelings on her. She is basically a Christian religious fundamentalist who even believes in a flat earth. But if that were the extent of it, it probably wouldn't be so bad because believing in a flat earth, while it's absolutely ludicrous, it is ultimately quite benign in nature. What isn't so benign, though, is to be an actual anti Semite, which she most surely is. She has done things like try to act as an apologist for Hitler, for example, which is absolutely ridiculous. And of course, she's tried to walk it back when accused of doing so, but it's just a matter of public record that she has tried to explain why he's not such a bad guy after all, kind of thing. She's basically a lunatic, in my opinion. And this raises another very serious issue here. Benjamin Netanyahu has put a lot of the Jewish community, including many of the Jewish people who don't live in Israel and people who in no way support Zionism, or at the very least certainly don't support the genocide they're performing in Gaza, nor this fight they're trying to pick with Iran. Nonetheless, these are Jewish people who are now very vulnerable to anti-Jewish sentiment worldwide, and it presents a tremendous opportunity for people like Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, white nationalists, and people who are neo-Nazis, people who are absolutely 100% legitimately anti-Semitic. So the fact that this guy called Candace Owens out because she shared this video is something that I don't agree with. So I simply left a comment, a very small comment on his channel, and I'll just see if we can scroll down to the comment I made here, where I basically pointed out that, not a good idea to platform Candace Owens. And I'm just going to go ahead and bring up my text-to-speech thing here. So we can I'll just read out, I'll read out his reply. Okay, hang on a moment, because that didn't come up. All right, the joys of being visually impaired. Here we go.
Desktop 2.
That did not work. We will try again.
At JE narrational change 1 hour ago. Seriously, dude, her channel platformed Ian to get this documentary out there since it's being censored everywhere.
So yeah, that was his response to me. That was his justification for shouting out Candace Owens. So, it just doesn't cut it. As I said, there is a very real harm to allowing, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, to opportunistically piggyback off the anti-Zionist, anti-Israeli sentiment at the moment so they can further their own agenda. And that really was the overall point of my comment, which apparently wasn't well received. I'm going to go ahead. When I tried to reply to him, my reply was shadow banned, and I have no idea whether that was his doing or whether it's just YouTube being YouTube. So nonetheless, I made my response by just editing my original comment, which for the sake of posterity, I'll just go ahead and let text-to-speech read it out.
This was all going so well up until the point you shouted out Candace Owens. Seriously, dude. Edit. Tried to reply and my reply got shadow banned, though I doubt this has anything to do with the creator. I'll go ahead and add it here as an edit. The fact Candace Owens shared that video is not the point. The real issue is not what someone does but why they do it. Owens is an actual anti-Semite, and you do great harm to your credibility by shouting her out. Let me be clear, Zionism is one of the greatest risks to global peace in the world right now. It is a racist ideology and everyone who believes in equality should condemn it. The problem is many genuinely anti-Semitic actors are jumping on the bandwagon like a wolf in sheep's clothing, and we have a duty of care not to platform them. BTW. My challenge to you. Acknowledge you made an error of judgment and I'll be happy to resubscribe. Anyone can make a mistake.
Okay, so that's both my original comment and my response. I am not holding my breath for him to acknowledge that he made any kind of mistake in shouting out Candace Owens. I have no idea of the context, whether he did actually make a mistake or whether he in fact himself is anti-Semitic. So, he's quite happy to kind of jump on that bandwagon, but he just doesn't want to kind of openly admit it because it would expose him to too much criticism. No idea. But anyway, I just wanted to make this video because, it actually kind of bugged the shit out of me. It brought up, I think, what is a very important issue that we all need to be very aware of here, that in our outrage towards Israel and Zionism, that we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater and re-victimize Jewish people themselves, because Judaism and Zionism are two very different things. All right, Bendy out.